Welcome back to the channel and thanks for looking at today's video. And today we're starting that assembly of the BRDM-2 for the Flames of War Team Yankee or Battlefront build. And we'll get straight into it and we'll talk a bit about it as we go and how I assemble them and some of the gear I use when I do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this turret together. So we've got the machine gun here. It's the 14.5mm KPVT heavy machine gun, which is used in a lot of Russian or satellite states of Russia or the former Soviet Union. A lot of countries use that. So first we'll spin it round, and here we've got that turret, fully enclosed turret, so we're going to start with that. So I'll just snip it out with the sprue snips, and just be careful not to try and hack it too much because it is a round sort of turret, and yeah, I mean, if we get marks in it, we can always fill them in, or if I took a little bit too much out, like just the way it's on the sprue. So if I take a little bit too much out in spots, we can either have it as battle damage or try and tidy it up. But I'll just go around with a file, just try and use the file just to clean them up a little bit. So yeah, it doesn't hurt just to give them a little bit of file and a bit of a filing, and just take your time cutting them out. So yeah, get that out, and then we'll get that machine gun out when I find it. And just be careful snipping these out. The barrels can be a little bit flimsy and fragile, so just gotta be careful. So we'll get that one out. And same thing again, just go along and I'll just tidy it up. It's a pretty neat fit, so just make sure it's filed, and you can use a smaller file than this, or sometimes use a round file, so I'll sort of go between the two, or I'll just use a craft knife, hobby knife, and just tidy up along it. So yeah, get that done. And for the turret, I'm just going to use a store-bought super glue, although we're going to use another type of glue for the build as well. So this is just a generic store-bought super glue that you just buy from sort of anywhere for anything around the house. And I'm just going to put a little dab on here. And sometimes people put it on a piece of cardboard or something and then use a toothpick, but I just put it straight onto the model in most cases, and I just slide this turret down into position, the machine gun down into position like that, and then I just have a look at it. And unfortunately you can't really give them much elevation, but it looks okay to me. So I'll set that aside and just off camera, just in the shot just there, and we'll let that dry for a minute, and I'll put the lid back on the super glue, and then we'll start on the vehicle itself. So start with this lower section, and same again, just go around with the sprue snips, and take it out, and then I'll do the same thing, either a file if you want to use a file, or a hobby knife, and I'll just go along and just take any of those little bits off. And then we've got a nice lower section ready to go, and I'll just put that up there for a second, and then I'll do one of the sides. So we'll do this side, which is the left side of the vehicle. Get that out. Give it a little tidy up. And then test fit it. So you've got the trim vane here, which is for forwarding or water operations. And there's a slit here where you can see that slides in, and that just fits in beautifully. So yeah, and I just made them meal of it. And then that, obviously that trim vane sits on the outside of that left hand piece we just put in, so that sits really good together. We'll just leave that like that for now, and then we'll cut out this other side, the right hand side. So same again, just go around and take it out, get it down. I'm trying to get this assembly done in one video, so if I look like I'm rushing a little bit, I'm not trying to. So same again, just tidy it up, file or just hobby knife, and this side just clicks in the same. So just line it up there, and then the trim vane out the front there. So beautiful, happy with that. And then what I'm going to do, because sometimes with these back pieces you can find that they're a little bit of an awkward fit. So whilst that's just holding itself together just with no glue in it, we come back to this rear section where the water drive system is, because they're obviously an amphibious vehicle. We'll get that out and yeah, have a read about it. Amazing, absolutely incredible vehicle. Just tidy that up. And once again, yeah, you can use the file. Plenty of people sometimes mail me, email me, and message me and say use a file. But yeah, look, yes, you can. Yes, use a file. And then with my left hand, I'm just going to hold all that together. That just sits in there, perfect. This model is excellent to build. It's a great little kit. And for this, we're going to use Mr. Hobby, Mr. Cement SP. And you know, people, there's plenty of shows talking about what SP is, whether it's like a super strength, super dry, quick drying sort of super glue. Like it dries real quick, but because it's so thin, it's great to run along these lines and just sit straight in there, bond straight away. That dries so I put way too much in there, but I do like to get a good bond, so there you go. So that's in there like that, so we didn't have to put glue on the parts then put it together. We just use that for the assembly, so excellent. And then we'll come back to the model, and of course if you look on the box quickly, the model we're doing is just the BRDM-2, the bottom model, which is most commonly the type that was seen in Iraq. So that's the one we're going for, with no sort of extra equipment on it, and the instructions are obviously just on the box. So the next part is the upper section. So we'll just go around, take that out. And there's 4 in the box, so we'll do a build of 4 and yeah, assembly of 1, build of 4, and then that's the same again. I'll just zip around with the file, get some extra bits off if there's any. That don't go looking for bits. I think that's probably good to do as well. And now this top goes on here, so we don't want to use a super thin glue like this Mr. Cement SP. What I'm going to do is go back to the store-bought super glue, and I'll run some super glue just on the inside, just where it's going to make contact a few times, and get that in there. It always looks like heaps, but trust me, I haven't put that much in it. And then I'm just going to line this top up, sit that top on there, get that bonded. Beautiful. So the vehicle's looking really good now. Then I'll just put that up there, and the next part, I'll just move it up a bit more. The next part we're going to cut out is the crew hatch. So just up here we've got the crew hatch, and on the sprue, that's this one down here, the one in the middle, this 3. So that's for a different weapon system, so like an anti-tank weapon system. This is for just the standard recon vehicle. So spin that around, get that out, drop that out. Give it a quick tidy up. And what I do here is, it is a small part, so I'll just grab a little bit of blue tack, and then I'll stick it on the back of that hatch. So sorry, it's a bit hard to see my fingers there. And then I'll place that hatch on the vehicle like that. And then when I've got that there like that, probably a bit straighter than that, but once on there, I'll go back to that store-bought super glue and just put a little drop just inside the bottom of that hatch. Well, that didn't work, did it? It fell off, but that's because I'm just rushing a little bit. But with that hatch back there, we've got a little bit of super glue there, and we'll let that bond. And then we'll bring in our turret, and the last part for assembly is that one of these turret pins here. So we'll quickly just cut that out. Give that a quick tidy up. And yeah, you don't have to rush like I am, but yeah. And I'll turn that up, and that obviously turret pin fits in there. A bit of glue. Then pop that turret pin in there, and I'll let that dry. And for a BRDM base model, that's the assembly done. So we'll leave that there to dry, and we've got one here that I did just before off camera, and that's sort of the look we're going for. We've just got the blue tack on there, but we'll let that dry, and I'll leave that upside down, that turret, to let that glue dry, because I don't want to put it on and then have the glue drip down and glue to the hull. So we'll let that one just dry, and we've got this one I did before, and that gives us that BRDM assembly done. There's plenty of stuff left on the sprue, so we'll look at spare parts and what I sort of do with spare parts in another video. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I sort of rushed that a little bit just to get the build done, but that's our BRDM assembly done, and BRDM-2 assembly done. And thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you.